I was at my new favorite Goodwill and I saw one record player and thought that was pretty good. I ended up not buying it, but then I spotted this. This is a Sony, and what's unique about it is it's a linear tracking turntable system. So I don't know about you, but I've not seen these before. So these are different than the typical arms. This piece slides across left and right. It's supposed to be better on the record, less wear on the groove. Here's a closer look at that arm. I don't know if that's a TP4. It does have an Audio-Technica stylus. Look at the back, shows it's pretty simple. It does have these built-in RCA cables coming out. And so I've never seen one of these like at a flea market or thrift store or anything like that. So I'm really excited to try this. I paid $13 for this, which is pretty good. I did not check it out in the store because I figured even if it didn't work, I was gonna wanna buy it anyways and see if I could fix it. Guess it had to be too good to be true because of course, even though this does power on, and you get this, and you can hear something trying to move, nothing does move. You can switch speeds, but if you try to move the arm, it doesn't do anything. If you try to transport the arm, it doesn't do anything. And if you try to stop it, that doesn't do anything. I think this thing is stuck. That can't be the position it's supposed to be in. It's supposed to be over more, because as it is now, it'd be in the middle of the record. So it is stuck. So I'm gonna have to take this thing apart. This is the bottom, bunch of screws with some helpful arrows that I'm assuming are the ones that I need to do to open this up and take a look inside. Taking the plate off, the mat off, and now what I'm gonna do is lift this. You can see it's starting to come up. I did get it opened up. Got it kind of perched up. I don't really wanna lean it on that tone armed assembly instructions. Nothing immediately. I'm hoping somehow that the motor's turning, but this belt is slipping. That would be the easiest thing. So I flicked the motor and I did get it spinning, and this cartridge, or whatever you're gonna call it, the arm, did come over to its starting position. But when I started up, still makes that spinning noise, and start does nothing. So I thought the arm was over all the way, but it actually wasn't. Now it's basically flush with this. This is the mechanism that makes that arm move. When I first turned it on, I could hear the motor spinning, but the belt wasn't moving this piece, which means that this wasn't moving. So what I finally did was I actually physically rotated this to get the arm into position all the way over to the right, and then the motor turned off. So that makes me slightly hopeful that this might work. Let me get a record. So I don't really want to be too optimistic here, or hopeful, because then your hopes are crushed. Oh. Okay, so that started, but you know what? I bet you that belt is slipping. I didn't think it was working. Maybe it was just real slow. But it did go over. And it seems to be playing. I'm gonna do the arm lifter, I'm scared. Okay, so that lifted the arm. Go over. I do have some belts. I'm gonna try those out. This is the original belt. It's slightly misshapen, but just in case you're looking, it's about, when it's perfectly circle, about an inch. In millimeter, I would say it's about 25, maybe 26. So I did find one that approximated that size, and it's basically working. So there's a start. The thing is, the record should be moving, and that's the only thing that so far isn't. But that slides over. If I give it a push, it goes, and it goes down. And right now it's not hooked up to speakers, but you may be able to hear that. The stop does work. Press stop, slides over. So right now the only thing is it doesn't automatically start without me giving it a little push. So I'm gonna take a look at that. So it seems to be working very well. I timed it with my phone, and I got 33 1/3 and 59.79, and that's just kind of a handheld thing, so that's not gonna be perfect. I am gonna let it play all the way through to make sure it kind of makes it to the end, but it seems to be working great. It's very exciting. One thing that I didn't realize with this is that this piece is not just dragged along passively, it actually moves. I have the volume down all the way, and you're gonna hear every couple of seconds it moves a little bit. So again, I don't know how well you can hear that. You can barely see it, But there are movements. It's got to be computer controlled or otherwise, so that the arm kind of goes along with it. So I thought that was interesting. I never would have realized that. But again, I sort of get that if it was just kind of passively moving on this rail, it would take a lot of force to drag this whole, I'm going to call it a cartridge, but it's something, that whole piece over. So it's got to be timed, which means seems to me pretty sophisticated. So it's not stopping automatically. Pretty sure it's supposed to. It played through the whole album fine, no issue with speed or sound. But again, the issue so far are that when you press start, actually now it's going. So I think the motor's warmed up. So actually the start is good now. But for some reason the automatic stop didn't work. Arm lifter, which pops it up, and then you can do arm transport. As long as you hold the button down, you can go to wherever you want. Should theoretically be easy to get the track, but I'm not so sure I'll get it. Again, yeah. In case you're wondering what that fun little music was, it's Dolls, 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 Jerry Murad's Harmonicats. I think this is a really unique find. I'm pretty excited by it. I'm going to try a 45. Switch the speed to 45. It did come with a little insert, which is housed here. And I got Julia, Julia by John Fred and his Playboys. So let's see if it works like it should. Assuming it'll know where to go to, obviously. Yeah, it seems like it should be working. So let's see if somehow at the faster speed it ejects itself. Oh, it is. Excellent. So again, maybe as it kind of warms up and it goes through the motion after probably a long time of not being used, it'll start working perfectly. That's fantastic. Okay, the record's ending and I have this repeat on. So I'm assuming that means it'll go back to the start. Okay. Oh, look at that. It overshot and it came back. Sweet. So you could keep, that's awesome. God, I love that. So you could just keep listening to the same song over and over. I can imagine as a teenager going nuts on something like that. So that's the 33. Remember, it ejected okay with the 45. So now the question is, will it eject itself? Come on. Nope. So it needs a little bit more work. I don't think that I'm going to be able to fix that. Like, there might be some lubrication I could do, but I would be more concerned about ruining it. So I'll probably leave it as is, play some more records, and hopefully it'll kind of fix itself. So check this out. This thing has effectively fixed itself. It is ejecting itself at the end of the records now, which is wonderful. See, look at that, check it out. That's awesome. I love when items fix themselves and I don't have to. That's wonderful. So that's good news. So this is basically fully functioning at this point. So awesome. I could not be any happier about this find. The fact that I was able to fix it, that it was just a belt, you know, something that I can actually handle, was tremendous. Such a new experience to see how this thing works. It's just fascinating technology. So I really appreciate you watching. If you have any comments or thoughts, please put them below, and please consider subscribing.